Orange County Registered Digital.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to OCVarsity.com for OCVarsity Gridiron Extra Show. Dan Albano, Steve Fryer, Carlos Arias. Looking back at the championship games, we had 4 games going. Some teams did great, some teams not so great. Dan, that Pac-5 championship game, I mean, that was just, a downer for Mater Dei. But I think this is one of those cases where the better team won the football game.
Bosco was the better team. I think Bosco's going to win the state title. But, I think it's, my last season impressions, one guy we should give some props to, Johnny Johnson, played a whale of a game in that game. 12 total tackles. He had the punt block for the touchdown. Very slick play by Johnny. And I think what we remember about Mater Dei is don't forget that they beat Long Beach Poly 30-0 in the semifinals. They beat, Mission Viejo, which I don't think a lot of people thought they would do in the quarterfinals. So, Monarchs had a tough go. They didn't score an offensive touchdown in 8 quarters against Bosco, but they had a great season.
Carlos, you and I and Dan, we all know just getting to a Pac-5 final, a final in any division, that's an achievement. You're a winner, man.
Yeah, and especially the Pac-5, arguably the toughest in the state. And who do you have in the finals? 2 Trinity League teams. I mean, that tells you a lot about the Trinity League, about, the level of play in there. Josh Rosen is somebody that I think, we could see definitely on Saturdays and possibly on Sundays in the future, because that kid is amazing, that quarterback. I mean, if he's not throwing the ball, he's running the ball. I mean, he's so impressive to me. So that's what stood out to me the most.
It was an all Trinity League final in that Pac-5 division, and the Southwest Division game also at Angel Stadium on Saturday, an all Sunset League matchup. Huntington Beach did it again. That's just one of the weirdest runs that I've ever seen, fellas. A 5th-place team, and they only got in because they beat, Harbor in the last, game of the season, Week 10, and then they ran the table. Dan, this was insane.
Yeah, somebody threw it out on Twitter. I think it was our colleague Jeremy Balin, wondering if has any 5th-place team ever won CIF, and I would say it's never been done. And the great thing about what really got Huntington Beach going, I think, was that semifinal victory when they beat Edison, the defending champs. First time they'd beat Edison in about 20 years, and after that, they were on a roll.
And somebody who was on a roll was number 1 of Huntington Beach, Carlos.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen in a championship game. Here it is, a nip-tuck, just totally crazy close game, 21-21. And in 45 seconds, Kairos is accountable for 3 touchdowns. He throws a touchdown pass, pick 6. Amazing run back. And then you're thinking, okay, that was just spectacular. Another pick 6, he runs it back. And all of a sudden, they got 42 points. I mean, it was unbelievable. Kairos, MVP, boom.
Yeah, and then, the Coronel Del Mar Garden Grove game, gosh, Garden Grove, I thought this was, even a better team than Grove was in 2010 when they won the championship. But Coronel Del Mar, golly gee, what a dominating football team that is, Dan.
They're pretty scary over here. I mean, 3 straight titles right there. I mean, that puts you in pretty select company in Orange County football when you've won 3 in a row. Not many schools, programs have done that. And I guess they have a ton of juniors on that defense. And this Anthony Batista with those quick feet, I mean, he was a touchdown machine every time he touched the ball, just about. Sophomore running back, Cole Martin's back. They're going to be really good. And hats off to them. Coach Meyer's got this program going off.
And something interesting, we were talking to Coach Meyer today here at Coronel Del Mar, and you can see some interviews on our show that we did here about Coronel Del Mar's football team, talk to some of the players and the coach, Coach Meyer. They've got one heck of a non-league schedule coming up, Carlos. They're going to be tested next year pretty good. Yeah,
they're going to play Tesoro, they're going to play Newport Harbor, they're going to play El Toro. I mean, and they still got 2 games left to fill. So, Coach Meyer isn't looking for cupcakes, man. He is going out. He knows this is a good team. He wants to prove how good they are.
St. Margaret's proved how good they are, too. They got to another championship game. I think that's 3 championship games with 3 different coaches over the last 7 years or so. And they play Jurupa Hills out in Fontana. And Dan, what are your thoughts on that in terms of that's not a neutral site, man. That I don't know how many points it's worth. They say in the NFL a home field's worth 3 points. I don't know how much it's worth when you're on a bus and you go all the way to Fontana or something like that.
That's super tough, and I agree with you, and I wish they would change the rules a little bit on that. I actually got to talk to Mark Cooper from the Register who covered that game, and I guess maybe we should have saw this coming on Jurupa Hills. they're a new school, you know, and their enrollment, you know, they start at the lower levels, but they have a huge enrollment compared to St. Margaret's of like 1,200 kids. I guess they ran the ball and just had more athletes and more players.
Yeah.
And the Tartans, you know, like you said, great run to the finals. Josh Davis is going to be, you know, heck of a player. You know, what a great dual threat quarterback he was this year. But they were just simply outmanned out there.
You know, and those of us who've been watching high school football a long time know that Fontana High School way back when, you know, they were darn good in those old days too, the old Steel City football there. And, you know, group of
back in the day. Eisenhower was another tough team from out there.
Yeah, out in Rialto. They play some good ball out there. Carlos, you know, St. Margaret's, you know, your buddy Josh there, your supermarket pal there, had a great season. And it's, you know, you get to the finals, man, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, not at all, man. I mean, especially, you know, in the smaller divisions, you know, it's so tough because you always have these new schools popping up, like Harupa Hills, you know, like who knows they're going to be a powerhouse. But I also want to give props to Garden Grove, making it to the finals 4 times in the past 5 seasons. Coach Willie Kluger has done a great job. You know, that's a winning program. They're going to be back, so just want to make sure that they get some props too.
All right, well, there's a lot of props to give to a lot of football teams. You know, the teams who made the finals, they're winners. Heck, you make the playoffs, you've had a winning season. We've had a great time covering all these teams. Hey, all you guys out there who are playing football, you guys spending all the time coaching. You know, I figured out what the stipends the coaches are making. They're making about 35 cents an hour. They're not doing it for the money, folks. They're doing it for the fun. We've had a lot of fun covering the football season so far. We still got Cornell Del Mar still going here at OCVarsity.com. Still some football to go at OCVarsity.com, where we've got you covered.
Orange County Register. We are here in the service of Orange County.